actually filmed a video, but I didn't film me putting this cute little design on a onesie for my daughter for 4th of July. So I'm going to show you how to set up your silhouette software, and then I'm not going to show you how to cut in this video. I normally would, but I didn't film the rest of the video. I didn't show myself heat pressing it and stuff like that because I had to do a bunch of stuff. I apologize for that one, but I will do some more hands-on tutorials. So I have this, oopsie, I have this SVG that I bought from Design Bundles, I believe, and this is actually what I made for her onesie, little firecracker. All I did was I just went to the open folder, or you can go on your wherever it's located at. I put all of my files on a big USB, and I am in the process of sorting them out. So I'm just going to find the file. So you can hit this open button up here on Silhouette Studio, or you can open the folder where it's at. And I have a PNG and I have an SVG. I would rather work with the SVG version because usually the PNGs are not transparent, and I have issues with tracing. I cannot trace unless it is black, and that's not black, like outlined in black or anything like that, so it'd be hard to do. So I just brought in the SVG, and you can see if you just drag it, that's what it'll do. So I'm going to actually delete that one because I don't need it, because I already have it in here. Okay, so first things first is you need to decide if you're going to use a mat or if you're not going to use a mat when you cut this. Now, usually the only things I have tested without a mat are vinyl that have a carrier sheet. 650 permanent vinyl, removable vinyl, HTV, any that have a carrier sheet, I know you can cut without a mat. Any other product, I'm not sure. So, with that being said, I would set this up as a no mat unless I was using scraps, and then I'd set it up as a mat. The video I actually cut without a mat, and I had the mat on, and I didn't even realize it. So, but say for instance, so we need to fix our page layout. Okay, so we're going to click the first button on the screen, on the right hand screen, which is page setup panel, I think. Open the, yeah, page setup panel. And then you have these 3 tabs. Your first one is going to be, do you want to use a mat? Do you not want to use a mat? How big is your media? Which is, the media is what's the size of the material you're using, okay? So if I was using scraps, that would come in handy for custom. I could change this down, and as I change it, the white, which is my material or my media size, changes, okay? So, I can leave it, if I'm using a sheet, I can leave it at 12 by 12 if I know that I'm only using the upper corner. Like I had made this, and it was less than 5 inches height and width, okay? So I could make as long as I could find material that was 5 by 5, it'd be fine. Okay, so say, and then this is where you change your cutting mat if you didn't want to use a cutting mat, if you did want to use a cutting mat. Now, you can see the screen changes. The border at where you can cut changes when you use it, when you don't use a mat, as far as cutting, and when you do use a mat. My stuff is super slow. I click on something and it screws up, so, okay. So I'm going to go back to Auto Cameo, and it gets a little bigger, okay? So it's 12 by 12. You can show print border. I don't click that unless I'm actually printing, then cutting. So, and that's, your registration marks need to be in the corners, okay? So we're not going to discuss that today. But the next one is the grid. I'm using 4.4 beta version. My 4.3 was messing up. So I went and downloaded the beta version, and they've since then removed that version. So I don't know if they're fixing to come out with the 4.4 again, or if the beta version was having issues as well. They took it out right after I got it, but my 4.3 version was causing me issues, so I deleted it and downloaded that beta. So this 4.4 edition, if you see something that's not on your screen, that could be why. So there's enable smart snapping. I usually keep the snap to grid off, and I usually uncheck the snap guides. I don't leave that stuff on this screen, and that's all I do on that one. So my page is set up. Say if my material wasn't 12 by 12, maybe it's 8.5 by 11. I know to keep my design within this white border. Now, what I don't, let's see, where's that? The transparent, okay, here it is. The media size, and that's 8.5 by 11. And then transparency. If you have your transparency up to 100%, you're not going to see the white bounding media border. Okay, I always leave mine at 0 because I want to see solid. I want to see what it, if I've missed anything, if I've taken anything out and stuff like that. So I like to be able to see those things. Okay, so now that we're done with the page setup, this actually comes in, whoopsie, if you just didn't see, it comes in separated. The two colors come in separated. So to figure out how to group those together, because I'm basically done. I don't have to do anything else unless I wanted to, you know, add a name or something like that. I'm done. This is exactly what I cut out. So if you want to group your colors, but you're afraid that maybe they don't in the file they didn't get all the colors together, you can go to Edit, Select by Color, and then something is on my screen that is like really, yeah, that's what I figured. I opened a file and I'm like, where's that file at? I can't remove that because it is a locked layer, I bet. Apparently I opened a file and I didn't know it instead of just a new one. So that didn't come in handy. Okay. I want to delete all of these. Okay, so ignore all that stuff that was in there because I've apparently opened into a different file and I didn't know it. The way to find this is there's two different ways. Go to Edit, Select by Color, and by line there's no color because they didn't put a color on the line. So we're going to go to the Fill, and there's a blue and there's a red. So we're going to click our red, and we're going to hold down Command. We're going to hold Command and hit G, and that groups all of them together. See? Okay, Command Z to move it back. We're going to get our blue. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to group those together. Command G. And you're done. The only other thing that I do is if you wanted to, I do a lot, sometimes I do a lot with layers. And one of these layers is, okay, there we go. There's the red. There's the blue. So if you wanted to go into the layers panel, which is, mine doesn't show up because I guess my screen, I don't know. But some might have it. Some might have to click this little arrow, and it's the last one that looks like two boxes, two squares. It's open the layers panel. You know, if you're wanting to set something up and you're wanting to sell, you know, a file that a design that you've made or something like that, you can go in here and rename these. And that way that if they have silhouette, that takes the guesswork out of everything, out of wondering stuff. So the layers panel comes in handy. You can also cut by layer. So I've not cut a lot by layer. I cut by fill and by color, fill color. So edit, select by color, and that's how you can do that. All right, now the next thing I need to do, if I was sending this to my machine and it's on HTV, is we need to mirror this image. Now, I have not tested this theory out, but I have heard that if you were to send this and then you select HTV, I'm just going to select one. I actually cut it on glitter. If you click that and then hit send, when you send mirrored, it sends it all the way on the other side of the mat. That's what I've heard. I have not tested that out. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that. I always flip it in the design in the design area before I send it to send. So all we have to do is highlight both or select both and flip horizontal. Now I don't want to group these together, and I'll show you why in the next on the send panel. So if let's say I'm going to group them just to show you this. So if I could group, and then I go by fill, I guess it doesn't matter. Maybe I can still do it like that. Okay, so I'm going to go to fill because there's no line color. I'm going to deselect the red, and we're going to just focus on the blue. What I need to do is actually move my design so I can save that vinyl, y'all. Move my design up, and you'll see where what's going to cut is because it's outlined in a darker shade of the blue. So move my design up, and yeah, it's going to cut off the red, but I'm not cutting the red right now. I'm focused on the blue. Okay, so once you have moved it, you can, you put it in the upper left-hand corner, or you can put it wherever you want on your mat. Just make sure that you move it to that part of your mat. And then, select your material and then hit send. Load your media. It says load my media because my cameo's on. And then once you load your media in there, it hits send. And then, okay, it cuts out the blue. So then you got to go back and cut out the red. So we uncheck the blue, check the red, and we're going to have to move it. Okay, so we just scoot it down. We just scoot the entire design down. The entire design moves together. It doesn't matter if it's grouped or not, because I think it was ungrouped in my other video and it moved, but I'll check that out. So that's all you have to do is just select which one you want to cut. Now, this isn't a layered image because there's not blue underneath the red. There's not blue in between this firecracker, nothing like that. So you don't, there's something that's completely different as far as if there was layers. These are separated so that they don't overlap. So it's a lot easier to work with. So let's ungroup it and then send it and see if it still works like that. No, it does not. So in order for you to move this and for it to line up and everything, you need to have it grouped, everybody, okay? So make sure before you send it to the panel, you group this image, group it, and then click send, and then you move it. It moves as one piece, okay? That is very helpful. So you can see where my red moved up a little bit. My red moved over, so let's see if this helps somewhat. I think it was like right there. So you want to have those grouped before you go to send. That way you can move it around, and a simple image like this, you can move it around and save on your material, because lining this up is easy. So it's not one that is like layered where it's not, like if it was a puppy dog, for instance, a face of a puppy dog, you have the nose, the eyes, all of that stuff. That's all on one layer. Multiple layers on one base, I should say. This has two separate bases. So I hope that made sense. Hope I described that really good. So I hope this video helps somebody. If you want to see something in particular that you're just not understanding, you can feel free to contact me. I'm not, I do check everything daily. Unfortunately, I don't make videos daily. So I'm a mom and I work 6 days a week. So I try to sneak those videos in there as I can. And I try to provide a helpful video whenever possible. So if you have something and you have any issues with it and you just can't get it, contact me, especially if it's like a file or if you're having problems cutting. I will need pictures, what your cut settings are. I need pictures of how the blade is, how your materials in the machine, stuff like that. And I'll try to help you as best as I can. So I hope you all stay tuned for the next video. And of course, thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. I appreciate helping, or I don't appreciate helping people, but I like to help people and I want people to learn this software to the best that they can. I'm nowhere near the best that I can be, but I'm starting out. So everybody have a good evening.